He's in my head, too.
Yeah, he's definitely in the competitors' heads. As we've heard throughout the season, some guys say, you know, I hope anyone wins except for the 48. He is on everyone's mind, and very well should be. He is the most dominant athlete in sports over the last 5 years.
Jimmy Johnson, part of a photo opportunity that's taking place in Victory Circle right now, where former winners of the Brickyard 400 and the Indianapolis 500 that are competing in today's race lined up with both the Borg Warner Trophy and the Brickyard 400 Winners Trophy at Indianapolis.
The bricks, that I think is probably the most iconic part of the Speedway.
Everybody goes out there and checks that out. It's one of the things that sticks out about the track the most.
You go out there and everybody gets down and kisses the bricks and stuff like that. I think that's really something unique and different.
Gives you a sense of where it's come from. You know, a lot of the history is still physically there, and I think that's amazing.
Indiana, home of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where they've been racing cars for a century now. Many of the traditions and customs of auto racing began here, like the use of a pace car, for example. Today, the relatively new tradition of racing stock cars at Indy continues with the 17th running of the Brickyard 400 for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. We are closing in on the green flag. Perhaps no one person is more synonymous with success at this racetrack than Roger Penske. There's a car in the Speedway's Hall of Fame Museum that Mark Donohue drove to victory in the 1972 Indy 500. That car that was the first of 15 Penske wins in that great race. Few things have eluded Penske, one of America's most successful businessmen and most successful racers, but victory in the NASCAR race here has. Penske has 3 drivers who will try to win him a Brickyard 400 trophy today: Sam Hornish Jr., Brad Keselowski, and former Sprint Cup champion Kurt Busch. I recently spent the day with Roger at the massive Penske racing facilities in North Carolina and found out that his successes in racing and in business are inseparable.
You started out in racing driving, and then made a decision at some point to turn directions.
I had to make the decision, am I going to be a race driver or am I going to be a businessman? And I made the decision to go into business and take those attributes that I'd learned in racing and try to apply them in the business world. And then, of course, a few years later, we started Penske Racing.
This picture down on the end here of a guy behind the wheel of this number 6, that's you, right?
Right. Now, I don't know how that got up here, but I guess they thought it'd be a good idea to show that I was a driver at one point. I think that, you know, when I was racing, I tried to take the things that I learned and pass it on and try to teach and come together with the drivers that we have, because it's one big family.
That family's had 5 decades of success.
The incredible move maybe ever in Indianapolis. Sam Hornish Jr. has won in an incredible finish.
And the 15th victory for Roger Penske.
24 Penske drivers have more than 200 victories in open wheel and stock car series racing, including 15 Indianapolis 500 championships.
Is there one trait or one characteristic that stands out above all that makes someone a Penske driver?
Well, I think that what I look at is someone who knows how to win races, but more important, are they going to fit into our team? And I think that we win as a team, we lose as a team. So when we have 3 cars in the NASCAR race this coming weekend, guess what happens? Only one's going to win. So we've got to be sure it's a team effort.
You walk along this wall, all these banners commemorating all these successes, and you've got wins for places like, you name it, but this one, Daytona 500. Great memory?
That was a special day for us, and I think that what was key there was the teamwork. At the end of that race, I remember hearing on my radio, and Kurt said, "Get Ryan to go high, I'm coming."
Teammates working together. Ryan Newman, Roger Penske win the Daytona 500.
And I'll tell you, he pushed him through, and it was just a great day for us.
Penske has had success in NASCAR and at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but he hasn't been able to put the two together for a victory at the Brickyard 400.
Bill Elliott just broke Rusty Wallace's heart right there.
We've had good success here with Rusty a couple of times. We've been competitive there, but we haven't, as they say, haven't closed the deal. At the end of the day, You got to set goals in racing. Sprint Cup championship is a goal that we have. The Indy 500 has been one. Winning Daytona was key.
You're in position possibly to win a Sprint Cup championship, a Nationwide Series championship, and an IndyCar championship all in 1 year. Have you allowed the thought to creep in yet?
Those 3 championships, it's very interesting, you know, are in our sights, and they're certainly goals for us. If we didn't think we could win the championships every year, we wouldn't go racing. I would say we're competitive. Am I thinking that we're going to be in the winner's circle at the end of the year? Listen, we got a lot of work to do, and I don't want to have anybody think I'm overconfident.
So as we walk past all these banners signifying all these big wins, is there room on this wall for one at Indianapolis in July?
There's got to be one. That place, I probably have to move everything down one to put it right in the center. I think the Brickyard 400 and a chance to be in Victory Circle and that racetrack with NASCAR would be a special thing for me personally, but more important, you know, for our team. And I can tell you we're focusing on it. Kurt knows, Sam certainly knows, and Brad does. He was up there testing, and he said, Roger, I want to win that race for your team and for you. So pretty special.
As one of the world's largest auto dealers, Roger Penske is a very busy man, but he's so passionate about racing that you'll find him at a racetrack just about every weekend with one of his race teams. Penske Racing's been around for some 53 years. His first IndyCar win, that came at Pocono, 1971. He's won at the Indianapolis 500 15 times with 10 different drivers and has 66 wins in NASCAR Sprint Cup Series racing with 6 drivers, 37 of those, by the way, with my buddy Rusty Wallace. Rusty, you've told me that Roger Penske's been a tremendous influence, not just on your racing career, but on your life. How?
He's taught me so much about a lot of things, Alan. There's no doubt about that. You talk about business, respect, surrounding yourself with good people, keeping everything neat and orderly. And above all, you know, I look at all that stuff and I think about him, and I've always just wanted to be like him. He's just a special person who demands respect. And, you know, everybody who talks about Roger Penske loves Roger Penske.
We heard Roger say the word team, what, 7, 8 times in that piece? And you hear these sayings from Roger, you come to realize they're not cliches, they're beliefs.
Definitely. I was fortunate enough to have worked in Roger's organization when I was younger, and it's a culture. He believes that. He lives it. I remember him speaking to a bunch of us young mechanics one day, and I heard him use the term, the whole can be greater than the sum of the parts. It's the first time I ever heard that, and the longer I was with him and the more I watch him, the more I understand it. He takes something and makes it stronger by using teamwork.
So what do you think of Roger's chances to get that big Brickyard 400 win today?
Well, I think if Sam Hornish could conjure up some of those great IndyCar days and get that karma going, he could have a great day today. Brad Keselowski, I still think, is on his way to being a superstar. Still a little young yet, got a little bit to learn. But I do think this Kurt Busch, Steve Addington combination, Kurt Busch is good at flat racetracks, fast racetracks. If they can take care of their equipment, put it in position at the end of the day, Kurt Busch could go to victory lane.
Well, let's hear from Kurt. He's starting 14th for Penske today, Doc.
Thanks, Alan. You know, Kurt, people say that have worked or driven for Roger Penske that just being around him changes their lives. What has he done for you?
He's an amazing individual, and he's done so much for my career, not just personally and on the racetrack, but business-wise as well. And he's just a magician. With everything he touches, it turns to gold, and it's really helped my career just settle in and feel a groove, and I hope today I can deliver a Brickyard 400 to him.
I was going to ask you about that. You know, with all the success he has had, it's hard to give the man something he doesn't already have, but he has never won a Brickyard 400. What's it going to take for you to make that happen for him today?
We got to hit everything just right. I mean, it's a tough race to win. It's a very prestigious race to win, and if we can get the handling just right throughout the day, green racetrack to start, cars are going to be loose, but then it gets tighter and tighter and tighter as the track rubbers up. So we just have to stay on top of our adjustments today with the Miller Lite Dodge and give it our best.
Hey, good luck to you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Alan, Kurt really wants to make it happen today for the captain.
Doc, thanks. Driver introductions underway down trackside. A live look at the grid along the main straightaway of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Denny Hamlin starts 18th in today's race. From down and injured to dominating and winning, his story is next.
I knew right away it was ACL. The other sports people that do this, they are out for the season. All I kept thinking about is how does I get myself in this position? Some people
men and women, they ain't giving up. They're going to lay it on the line. They're going to go after it as hard as they can go after it. And, you know, you're going to have to kill them to get them out of there.